Hi everyone, I'm Sporty, this is Ange, and welcome to Mostly Mindful,
where we encourage you to live simply and age with intention. So, given that we're doing a low buy, no buy spend this year, we decided that it's high time we did another frugal living tips kind of video. And for this one, we're looking to the Dutch for inspiration, because apparently they are a super frugal nation.
Yeah, they've often been labelled as stingy, but it's pretty much that they're frugal.
Yeah, they're more economical with what they do with their money, because if you look, I can't remember what it's called, but there's this thing on Wikipedia where it lists the world's nations in the order of how generous they are, and the Dutch are right at, like, they're very close to the top of the list. So we shouldn't be calling them stingy. Instead, let's see what we can learn from this super financially savvy nation.
Yeah.
And also, I mean, it'll be fun to see how many of their tips we're already implementing.
Or if there's new ones that we can actually tag on to what we're already doing.
That's even more exciting. Okay, let's get to it.
So, top of their list is avoiding waste. And they are so serious about this one that they actually have a phrase. And not sure if we're pronouncing this correctly, but it's weggooien is zonde, which we figure is throwing away is a sin.
They try at all costs to not throw stuff away or waste anything, whether that's food or energy or
water and things as well.
Yeah.
They try and find second homes for furniture they don't need anymore and that kind of thing.
Yeah, so let us know in the comments where you are on this, because it is one of our pet peeves as well, wasting things.
Yeah.
So it'll be interesting to hear. Next up, they are really big on bringing their own food to every single occasion. For them, eating out is a super special occasion. So whether it's going to work or going for a picnic or school lunches
or travel, they pack their own food like most of the time.
Yeah, whereas some of us, I mean, we've been known to do that. You get to the airport, you go in somewhere and you buy a sandwich. These guys don't do that.
Yeah.
They'll arrive with their sandwich in their handbag.
From her.
Yeah.
They also believe in getting full use of all items. One of the examples I can think of now is using a tea bag more than once.
Yeah, we like to do that as well.
Yeah.
And using your clothes until they're actually worn out. And I know some of our viewers have actually commented that they do that. But the Dutch apparently take this to a whole other level.
A scruffy nation. No, joking.
Yeah, I was actually about to add there, because when we were researching for this, they're probably not that much of a scruffy nation, because they also focus really hard on buying quality over quantity. So these are not the kind of people that you're going to find browsing at H&M, buying, fast fashion.
Exactly. They spend a good amount of money on things that last. They also try and do DIY wherever possible. So instead of hiring professionals to do every single little fix-up job around the home or wherever, they try and do it themselves.
Yeah, this one's a bit of a stretch for us. I think maybe you need the tools and the know-how. I mean, you've got YouTube.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's cool if you can do that for sure, because calling people in to fix things is expensive.
Very expensive.
Yeah, we all for the DIY thing if possible. They're also a really financially savvy nation. They track their budget closely. They avoid debt. They live within their means. These are the kind of people we should have been looking to for advice years ago, back when we were first getting into debt.
And then one small point you missed out was that they save diligently, which we've only just realized.
We've only just realized how important that is.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's amazing. If you happen to be young and you stumbled upon this channel, look to the Dutch for advice here. This is like really, it's a good thing to follow, take on board.
Yeah, you have to, if you can, You should start young so that you don't have to sort of race to the finish when you're older, which is happening here at Mostly Mindful.
That's
right
exactly
now.
what's happening. But I was just thinking how cool it is if you're a Dutch kid, you just get taught that kind of
Yeah,
stuff.
straight out the box, the
Mm.
gate. Yeah.
Lucky them.
They also like to prioritize experiences over stuff. So any extra money they've got, they'll spend on, traveling with the family, fun outings, just things like that.
Yeah, that is definitely something that we've been prioritizing for a long time, and we promote it big time on our channel because those experiences are worth so much more than whatever you could buy for that same amount of money.
Yeah, priceless.
Exactly.
Priceless. Yeah.
And then they absolutely love bargain hunting, and they're not ashamed about it at all. I know, like in a lot of Western countries, there's this sort of stigma attached to looking for bargains, and they're just all in on this. And
you must have had some Dutch ancestry in your deep...
Actually, my nana's of Scottish descent, and apparently they're also like
stingy.
ridiculously frugal. So I think that's
yes, sorry, frugal.
Anyway, so the point here is, if we're going to learn from them, is go all out and find the bargains, and don't be embarrassed. Clip the coupons.
And for those of us that are nearing that age where you get loads of discounts, take advantage.
Pensioner discounts, do you mean?
I do mean that. Didn't want to say the word.
Only April away.
Only April away.
Okay, this is a fun one. They are very big on splitting the bill fairly, and so much so that they actually have this app called Tiki, which helps you, like if, say for example, us two went out for coffee and I paid for it, afterwards I would send Saskia a request for her half of the money on Tiki. So, I mean, this is quite an out there concept if it's not in your day-to-day, like, normal way of living. But I mean, maybe it's not that bad. We've all been out. You've got those friends who maybe prefer to just leave and not pay the bill. Everyone's experienced that. Or maybe you go out with a big group of people and you order your lettuce because you're on diet, but everyone else had like steak and wine and beer and stuff, and you're basically paying for that.
Yeah, if you split the bill, then you get a higher amount.
Yeah, so I mean, maybe they take it to a whole other level, which is too far, but I think there's definitely something to be said for it.
Yeah, there's some merit in it because it just promotes the responsibility of,
Being fair.
being fair and paying your way.
Yeah, exactly. So I quite liked it.
Yeah.
Number 9 is a biggie in our house, purely because we sold our car some months back, and now we have a bicycle, and I cycle everywhere, and one of these days I hold out hope that Sporty will be cycling as well, but in the meantime she walks everywhere.
Biking over driving is this point for the Dutch.
Yeah, and apparently they get, I think they get reimbursed sometimes by their companies if they choose to cycle and be healthy. And they're known as a cycling nation, actually.
Yeah, it's the whole country is pretty much set up to cycle. It's actually amazing when you see those videos online with how many people actually down the streets on their bikes. It's so
I think
cool.
I'd be a bit terrified.
Yeah.
But I mean, I must say, like, because we sold our car recently, and Sporty and I, we've been feeling like a little bit, I don't know, lazy or what the right word is, but we've been missing the car a little bit. But yesterday I went out on the bike again, and it's just like there's some kind of freedom to just cycling everywhere.
Yeah, and I walked to the shopping centre here, which is about a 35-minute walk, and I just felt like, it's like a time to unwind and just think and look far and not hassle through the traffic, finding a spot to park and paying for the parking, blah, 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 all that stuff. You don't have to do it.
Yeah, I mean, it came up here because it's like a frugal thing, and you save so much money. We've noticed since we don't have the car. But the other benefits almost surpass it in a way.
Exactly, yeah. Yeah.
So it's definitely worth considering if you still have a car to maybe use it less.
Yeah. And those benefits, those other benefits Ange mentioned, they're sneaky. You only really get to know them once you don't have a car.
Yeah.
You can't imagine when you have them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, one more point about the car.
Yes.
We
About the car. Go for it. I thought we were going on to the next one.
No, I was just going to say to Sporty's point that when we did have the car, we tried to say, okay, we're not going to use it, only if we really have to. And then, like, we'd need something from the shop and we'd say, oh, we're so busy at work, we really
don't
have to.
time. Yeah,
so, anyway, enough waffle about the car. This one's cool. They travel frugally, so they try and have holidays closer to home, so it doesn't cost a lot.
Yeah, and they don't have to book flights and trains, or maybe trains. But they travel locally. Let's put it that way.
They're also big on things like camping, which is obviously much cheaper than going to like some fancy resort. And then if they can, which I guess there is probably easier with the public transport, they'll try and get there on public transport rather than driving there.
Yes.
So, I mean, I remember we did that when we were in Toronto. We booked a weekend away somewhere and we took the Greyhound bus to get there. It was such fun.
Yeah.
It's like a novelty for us here because it's not...
No, it's not a possibility.
It's not the norm here to do that. And yeah, so it's quite cool. We have a bucket list which kind of goes against the Dutch because we want to go to Europe
and do cycle tours
and go on trains and things.
Yeah.
There you have it. 10 ways that the Dutch are super frugal. Let us know what you thought of them, which ones you already do, which ones you think you might embrace and add to your saving money way of life.
And which ones you think are ridiculous, like having an app to share bills.
I guess that one's going to get the most pushback. That's my guess. Out of the 10, I'm guessing that one's going to get the most pushback. What about you?
It's very foreign. Yeah, I think that's the most. The rest of them all make sense. That's the most out there. But it's only because we don't know of it. We haven't experienced such a thing.
So that's actually something interesting because we've got viewers in the States, in Germany, in Australia, New Zealand,
in India,
other parts of the world.
In the East, yeah.
So if you've seen this and you want, let us know where you are in the world and how this matches up with how you do things there. Because I remember in Toronto people would order separate bills.
Yeah.
So that'll be so cool to hear that.
Yeah, and what we do here is we actually, most of the time, everyone's different, but most of the time, if you are sharing, we'll add up our things and then tell them what to put on the card.
Yeah,
So, but the danger there is that the waiter doesn't get a decent tip.
Yeah, that's a whole other story. So, there you have it, a semi-waffly roundup of 10 frugal Dutch habits.
And those of you that are new here and haven't watched other videos, we tend to waffle in our videos, which means we sort of talk
a bit too much.
We chatter a bit too much. So when Ange says semi-waffly, it means that we've been a bit chattery on this one.
And we've come to the end and no more waffling.
No more waffling, so just subscribe, like, share, comment, all that good stuff so that we hit the algorithm and become superstars. But until then, and the next video,
keep it simple,
keep it frugal,
and age within...
Oh, must we do it together?
And age with intention. Bye! We also do stupid stuff at the end. Also, if you're still here, sometimes we have bloopers after the thingy.
So see if that happens.
Stick around.
I think maybe we have some for this.
There'll probably be one or two. In the meantime, we're going to finish our almond butter toast. See you in the next video. Bye! The thing is, considering how early we got up, this is actually yesterday's coffee.
So So does it mean we can have more now?
Yeah.
Okay, brilliant.
When we go to Wild Sprout, and then you have to have it with croissants.
Yeah. Hey everyone, I'm Sporty. This is Ange. Welcome to Mostly Mindful.
Where we encourage you to live simply. Wait, I can say
Say
it.
it again.
Where we encourage you to live simply and age with intention.
Shall I start from the beginning?
Yeah.
Otherwise, I mean, we shouldn't need to have to cut our intro together.
Okay, go. No, I think it's fun, and now we're just going to have to cut off the part where you said, oh, what about the Gen X straight after my life. Okay, one more time.
Well, last time.
Last time.
No more chances for you.
No, nothing.
So, some of you may know, but given that we're doing a no-buy, low-buy year, we've decided to have a look at how other people have frugal practices. It was terrible.
It was terrible. It was it wasn't worst, but it was.
It wasn't worst, it was about as worst as that.
Okay, I'll try.